Good morning, dear workshop participants. We are pleased to welcome you to the 5th workshop on young scientists in computer science and software engineering. This workshop is a computer science workshop focusing on research advanced application of information technologies. Today, in such difficult conditions of Ukraine, the scientific community continues to work. So we wish everyone fruitful work and interesting discussion. The author of the article, Simulator of Computer Network and Basic Network Protocols, is invited to present his article. So let's start. Good afternoon, dear visitors. Let me present you the main result of the study on the topic simulator of the computer networks and basic network protocols. We live in a country of information and communication systems and technologies where it is impossible to imagine any organization without modern computing technology. Computer networks are characterized by the complexity of the topology, so the questions often arise of preliminary modeling of computer networks. Throughout modeling the optimal topology of the future network, the necessary network equipment, as well as the possibility of future development is determined. In addition, modeling computer networks avoid the costs that result from actually building and network in the future. Also, for the correct interaction of computers operating in networks of different structures and using different software, it is necessary to have certain standards. These standards currently exist in quite a large number. For developing countries, this highlights the challenge for training and educational institutions as a demand for IT professionals continues to grow. Understanding how computer networks are designed, how they function, and how they can be managed is a necessary skill that IT professional must acquire. Students studying in the field information technologies have a list of compulsory disciplines for study. One of these disciplines is computer networks, as a result of which students should be able to explain the basics of the function of computer networks. To achieve this learning goal, students will have to spend many hours on the hands-on design, configuration, and implementation of computer networks. Efficiency in this direction is achieved only when there is enough quality equipment to allow the individual practice of customizing software. In our study, we describe analysis of software products. Also, Cisco Packet Trackers is a network simulator that can be used by students as well as teacher and network administration. Packet Trackers has two workplaces, logical and physical. The logical workplace allows users to build a logical network topology by placing, connecting, and clustering virtual network device. The physical workspace provides a graphical physical dimensions of the logical network, giving a sense of the scale and the placement of how network devices such as routers, switches, and hosts would look in a real environment. Graphical network simulator is used by hundreds and of thousands of networks engineers around the world to emulate, configure, test, and troubleshoot virtual and real networks. This was confirmed by the result of the crowdfunding campaign, during which the GNS3 developer quickly collected quite a substantial amount for the development and software package. Our study describes the properties of computer networks and physical device, but let's view in detail on developing a computer network simulation. Simulator of computer and basic network protocols must provide the same capabilities, namely the design of computer network and the study of their work. The computer network simulator should provide the ability to add device to the network. Each device can have network cards containing ports for different communication channels. Each device has parameters such as name, IP address, and others. Devices might be connected via communication channels. Device can communicate with each other via communication channel. In a computer network simulator, the functionality should be implemented that allow you to track the process of communication between devices. The main function of the computer network simulator is to enable users to connect to each other's network. The user can open access to the network with the ability to view or edit in real time. After analyzing the requirement of users, we highlight the following use case. First, create a new network project. Second, selection and creation network device. Third, select and create connections between device. Fourth, set up an IP address for the created devices. Fifth, viewing the network log of device. Six, create and send traffic between devices. Seven, ability to open access to your project. And eight, opportunity to join another project. Let's define the functional requirement for the simulator. First, building a computer network, the system must have a set of program device and connection with which you can create and expand a computer network. And second, the work of several people on the project, the user has the opportunity to open access on this project. The analysis of functional requirement made it possible to single out the following entity through which we implement the software product. The view model being the model and the view throughout a data binding mechanism if parameters values change in the model. When the model implements them, it notify property change interface. The display date in the view automatically change. Also, the model and views are not specifically connected. The view model also contains the logic for getting date from the model, which is then passed to the view. The view model also defines the logic for updating the date in the model. Since view element that is a visual component such as button do not use events, the view interacts with the view model using commands. For example, the user wants to save the date entered in a text file. It presses the button and thereby sends a command to the view model. And the view model already receives the transfer state and update the model accordingly. In the diagram, you can see four classes of windows and two classes of graphics elements. The main window class is responsible for displaying the main user interaction element. The main window class also displays device and connections added by the user. The log windows class is responsible for displaying the device log, which you can trace that is happened on the device. The configuration window class is responsible for displaying device information and editing its IP address. The traffic windows class is responsible for creating and sending artificial traffic from one device to another. The open system user control and physical media user control classes are responsible for the graphical displays of device and connections as well as user interaction on the main window. The diagram also shows four classes of view models which contain the user interaction logic and the two models which store information about device. In the diagram, you can see the classes for communicating and an application with another application of this type. The classes are implemented using the VCF framework. They are designed and implemented in such a way that the application can work in client-server mode. The sharing service class contains the functionalities responsible for running the application in server mode. The sharing service client class contains the functionality responsible for running the application in client mode. The sharing service callback class contains functionality that helps the server communicate with the client. In the diagram, classes representing network device are visible: base open system, computer, router, and switch. The base open system class is the parent of the computer, router, and switch classes. It includes the functionality and database of to all network devices. The computer, router, and switch classes override the functionality implemented in the base class. The diagram shows the base network interface controller and network interface classes for working with network cards and network interface. These classes implemented functionality for sending, receiving, and processing data. The diagram also shows the physical media, cable, and connector classes, which implement functionality for connecting network device and transferring data. The internet type to frame class represented an internet frame used for communication between devices. The upper PDU class represent an RP packet that, when passed down to the layer, is encapsulated in the internet frame. After launching the program of the computer network simulator, user can create a new project, add device to it, and a connection between devices. Add traffic from one device to another, open access to the project, or connect to another project. Also, after creating a device, when you right-click on the device, an accelerated list appears with a choice. Open the settings windows or the log windows of this device. When choosing the option to create a new project, a command is created that clears all the files that were previously filed in and initialize them with new values for the new project. The add device to project option create a command that initializes a new device and adds it to the collection of created devices. This collection is associated with the view of the main window. That is, when updating, adding or deleting the collection graphics elements with a pair of the main window which you can interact. Adding connection works in a similar way to the data device. A project must have at least two devices to be able to connect them. When you select the traffic creation options, a new window opens in which you can select which device the traffic will be sent from, which device this traffic should come to, and which protocol packet should be sent. After filling in all the fields, the users present the send out, in which generates a command to start the process send traffic. One of the main processes of a computer network simulator is sending data from one device to another, provided that they are connected. The process of sending data begins in the base open system class in the send data method. This method takes an instance of the internet time to frame class as the parameters, and knowing what from which MAC address the data should be sent, select the network interface with the corresponding MAC address and call the send method of this interface. Having saved a frame, the network card encapsulates it and pass it to the handle new method of the date link layer service class, which in turn process the packet using the R protocol service helper service as shown in the slide. Well, let me describe our simulator. The K class that hosts and communicate with the application is service host. It is part of the system service model names as. So, to create a network project in which you can build a network, you need to click the item file, create project. Once the project is created, the user can add the device by clicking device and selecting one of the options, computer, route, or switch. After creating at least two devices, the user can connect them using connections physical media. By clicking on the item physical media, the user must click on the two devices that he wants to connect. To connect traffic, you need to open the traffic create windows using traffic and data. In the window that opened, you need to select the device from which the data will be sent, the device to which they will have to reach, and what type of protocol will be encapsulated. To communicate with other applications, the user can open access to the project using sharing open access. So that other users can join his project to join someone else's project. This user must select sharing connect to a shared project. In addition to the menu, the user can interact with devices in the main window. The user can call the context menu of a device by right-clicking on it. In the context menu, there are two options for selecting configuration, which opens the device setting windows, and log, which opens the device network windows. By opening the device installation window, the user can see the static settings of the device and its network interfaces. The user can edit the IP address of the network interface. The device network log window that opens shows the actions that took place in the device context. After creating the devices, connecting them to the network and configuring them so that they have the same IP addresses. RP glitration packets are sent with the help of which they learn about the conflict of the IP address. On the slide shows an application action in the server. A project was created in the application and two computers were added which were connected to the network. On slide, you can see an application that acts as a client and has been attached to the application. After connecting to the server application, the client application saved the project date and reproduced this project in the network building space. Also, the client application, having received the date, can trace and action that took place in server application using. The analysis of software analogs made it possible to present their advantages and disadvantages. The given theoretical information about the network properties of devices and protocol made it possible to formulate the requirement that the designed simulator must be. Designed and developed the structure of the program code and the main architecture of the system. Classes for interaction with the user and classes for the operation of the application. For communication between applications are described. The methodology for using the created application is described in our article, and we think that the design software meets the requirement and is satisfactory fast without taking up large resource of the computer on which designing. We see the expansion of the functionality of the simulator as a prospect for future research. Thank you for your attention. Thank you. Well, who has the questions for the speaker?
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. So the question is, I'm Mikhail Medvedev. Did you use this simulator in the educational purposes?
Yes, thank you for your question. Yes, of course, we use the simulator to teach students of 12 branch. So in particular, when study discipline computer networks. Thank you. Who has any questions? Thank you for your question. And Andrei Mikhailовich, are you here? So the next who invited to the speak in our workshop is, please wait a minute. Yes, the next is Vladimir Murkun, Natalia Murkun, Vitaly Tron, Alena Gapanenko, Irina Gapanenko, and Yevhen Bubrov. Are you here or not? So we will miss or skip a few participants, and now I invite to present his result. Hrynevych Maria, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
I will start your present.
Oh, okay, thank you.
1 minute, please.
Platform for conducting geodetic and ecological surveys of water bodies, as well as the application of these platforms as a tool for promoting the development of environmental consciousness and motivation for transforming knowledge in behavioral models. Modern realities signify a rapid increase in consumption of the amount of waste. Therefore, the question arises, the new digital technologies can compensate for these changes. The answer is obvious. It is necessary to look for new solutions that will help solve the problem of climate change and contribute to preserving the well-being of the entire planet. Water pollution is a negative change in the physical, chemical, and bacteriological water properties caused by an excess of inorganic substance, organic, radioactive, or heat, which limit or prevent the use of water resources for drinking and economic purposes. Consequently, a robotic platform enables remote analysis of water is a reservoir to measure the acidity of water, its temperature, and the depth of the reservoir. In case of acidity increase and water pollution detection, it will be possible to take a water sample from a particular reservoir area and carry out a detailed water analysis follows the executive mechanism. Thus, it detects the source of pollution and marks the exact location by dropping a beacon in the highest pollution concentration for further investigation of the nature and pollution level. The problem of water pollution is becoming more significant. Some mobile laboratories allow conducting research in field conditions. However, it is a long-term process that requires detailed preparation and preliminary water sampling. There are no absolutely analogs of the system presented. The paper reviews the autonomous surface platforms that are fully autonomous or controlled. Therefore, they are suitable for extreme conditions to research in the ocean or transport cargo along a specific established route. Also suggested a spectral processing method for analyzing the reflectivity of water samples and applied machine learning method to estimate water quality parameters. Zhytomyr Polytechnic State University scholars have developed an intelligent robotic platform for geodetic and environmental research. According to the criteria of cost effectiveness and mobility, the new system will be the best among its known analogs. The design of the robotic platform consists of the following main elements. The body control unit number 1, which includes a microcontroller based on an Arduino Nano board number 2, a radio module number 3, sensor control board 4, a module to which a water acidity sensor is connected number 5, collectorless engine 6, its cooling jacket 7, engine regulator 9, connecting clutch 24 for transferring rotation from the engine shaft to the deadwood shaft number 23, which in turn is connected to the propeller number 22. The system is powered by a battery number 8. Servo motor 10, 11, 12, and 13 are used as cargo compartment drivers. 25 and 26. Steering wheel drive 21 and water intake mechanism drive. Sensors for temperature 14, acidity level 15, ultrasonic for measuring the distance from the bottom of the platform to the bottom of the reservoir number 16. Distance sensor 27, navigation of the platform is provided by the GPS module and the antenna 29. Overall emitters from 17 to 20 help in driving in the dark. And here you can see all the equipment of our platform. Okay, and now about control panel. Control is carried out by the Arduino Nano board, which provides data processing. Moreover, it performs the control device function and ensures data processing from the GPS module and their recording on a flash drive. The control panel receives and transmits data via the NRF radio module. The received sensor data from the radio module are processed by the control board and displayed on the OLED display of the control panel. According to the system algorithm, the controller ports are configured and the input data is zeroed. In this case, the transmitter considers the robotic intelligent platform and the initiator of the data exchange. Then a request is sent to the air to connect to the control panel. If there is a connection, a response occurs to work on exchanging data with the remote control and checking the necessary of continuing work. The control panel operations algorithm begins with initialization, then the remote control acts as a receiver. In the case of a connection and receiving a signal, it is essential to exchange data with the platform and check the need to continue work. If the work is finished, the cycle ends. To create a map of the bottom relief, first of all, it is necessary to collect data of the depths of the reservoir using an ultrasonic distance sensor. Then, two more parameters are needed to build a three-dimensional model. One of them is time, and the other is coordinates, the determination of which is performed using GPS data of the mobile platform location of the reservoir. Finally, when conducting research, it is necessary to choose a site of the reservoir and moving through the reservoir step by step, receive data from the depth sensor and coordinates at these points respectively, and write this data to a file on the platform of the Raspberry Pi mini computer installed on the mobile platform. Okay, and now we can see how our platform work. So this is real experiment, and you can see how it works. With the help of radio modules, such data as control signal from the remote control are transmitted. In addition, there is a data transfer received from sensor, namely water acidity level, temperature, depth, coordinates of the platform location, and battery charge level. The GPS module determines the current location and indicates the exact time reading the location in specific coordinates. The data analysis makes it possible to build a map of the intelligent robotic platform's route and a two-dimensional depth graph. Yeah, and here you can see a control panel. Okay. According to the readings of the temperature and acidity sensor at each determined point of the robotic platform route, graphs of changes in these values were built. And here you can see these graphs. The research introduces a new intelligent robotic platform for geodetic and ecological studies of water bodies. It helps assess water quality and measure water body depth. The installation has a set of functions which can be increased in the future. For example, adding a function of work autonomy at specified points, which contributes to building a full-fledged detailed map of the reservoir bottom. In addition, the article considers the possibility of a more detailed analysis of water locally. Here you can see all of the authors, and thanks for your attention.
Thank you for your interesting report. Who has question for the speaker? Thank you, Andrei Mikolaevich. So, who any question in this report? So we have a question in the chat. In which areas specialities in the development used to train specialists?
Okay, thank you for your question. We can use this platform for studying students which get their bachelor or master degree in robotics, automation, and computer integrated technologies.
Thank you. Who has any questions? So thank you for your interesting report, and we invite the next author, The next after is Vitaly Levkivsky, Galina Marchuk, Alexander Kuzmenko, and Levchenko. I will start your report. 1 second, please. One second, please.
Diabetes is a disease characterized by high blood glucose level over a prolonged period of time. Patients with diabetes have pancreas malfunction in combination with low insulin sensitivity. This leads to fluctuations in blood glucose levels, in particular to the appearance of both hyperglycemia, high glucose concentration, and hypoglycemia, low glucose concentration. Therefore, there is a need to find treatments that can improve the living standards of people with this disease. According to the IDF Diabetes Atlas, the global prevalence of diabetes in 2021 is estimated at 10.5%, 536.6 million people, and may increase to 12.2%, 783.2 million people in 2045. The main purpose of our research is to analyze the problem of diabetes and to develop an automated control system. The defined purpose determines the following tasks: to define the basic metrics and ways of their reception for the development of the mathematical module of the system, to design the structural components and algorithm of the system, to develop an automated disease control application. To develop a system of automated control of diabetes, it is necessary to define and implement methods for collecting input data on the patient's condition in real time. This data can be divided into two groups: streaming and constant. Streaming data require regular input and include blood glucose, alcohol, carbohydrates, weight, insulin, time and date, place of administration, physical activity, stress and illness. The constant data include such indicators as age, gender, type of diabetes. For developing the mathematical module of the system, metrics and methods for obtaining them were determined. The model of the oral glucose tolerance test, or GTT, developed by Bewley in 1961. The model of the intravenous glucose tolerance test, IGTT, by Bergman Cabelli in 1979. The experimental determination of glycemic characteristics of insulin is as follows. Knowing the initial level of glucose in the blood as well as its integral characteristics, it is possible to choose the right amount of insulin. For developing, we use such tools as AngularJS and Ionic, client frameworks for building UI-oriented cross-platform mobile and progressive web applications, Apache Cordova, open source mobile development framework, Firebase for building backend logic, hosting of database, and authentication. The algorithm of the automated diabetes control system is presented in figure. First, the user gets to the authorization screen. If he is registered, he can immediately pass it and get to the main screen. Otherwise, it is necessary to go through the registration process by filling out a standard form. The entered data are checked for validity and entered into the appropriate collection in the database. Once on the home screen, the user can immediately view the statistics. The user can also go to the screen with analytics, where the information for a specified period is displayed. To work with entries, the diary screen with the functions of viewing adding, deleting, and editing entries is available. It is possible to set user settings, medication, and glucose level. The data entered by the user when making changes to the settings or when working with diary entries are entered into the database. On the main screen, it is possible to add a new diary entry by clicking on the corresponding button. On the open model window with the form, current time and date are passed. After the user enters the data, validation and synchronization with the database are performed, and the user is redirected to the home screen, and methods are called to update the statistics based on the entered data. After starting the automated diabetes control system, the login screen is shown where the user must log in or register by clicking on the registration button. After successful authentication, the main screen is displayed with statistics of the main indicators for the week and for the current day, namely bolus insulin per day, the amount of active bolus insulin at the moment, the number of hyperglycemia for the current day, average sugar level in 7 days, mean deviation of sugar in 7 days, and the amount of hyperglycemia in 7 days in percent. By clicking on these indicators, the user can get reference information. On the main screen, there is a button to create a new diary entry. By clicking on it, a model window with a form is opened. Navigation is carried out through 4 tabs: Home screen, Diary, Analytics, Settings. On the screen of a diary, all entries sorted and grouped by date and time are displayed as rows of cards with entered matrix. By clicking on any entry, a model window is opened to edit or delete the entry. This window has a form with all the necessary fields for filling: medicine, food, activity, sugar level. The user can also choose the time and date of the entry. In editing mode of an entry, a button for deleting an entry appears in the navigation bar with a dialog box to confirm the deletion of the record. On the screen of Analytics, the user can choose the desired period of a report, namely 1 day, 7 days, and 30 days. Also, the date can be specified from which the data will be calculated. The screen with settings displays the user's email and the list of setting groups: personal settings, glucose settings for adjusting glucose levels for hyperglycemia, medication settings for choosing medications. There is also a login button in the navigation bar. As a result of the research, an analysis of the problem of diabetes were conducted. The basic metrics and methods of production of these metrics for the mathematical module of the system are determined. The functional requirements for the automated disease control system were analyzed. Algorithms of the system functions were defined and described. The order of interaction of classes during the execution of the programming code was determined, and the system of automated control of diabetes mellitus was developed. The software product is ready for use. Thank you for your attention, dear colleagues. We are ready to answer your questions.
Thank you for your interesting report. Who has the questions for the speaker?
Okay, good afternoon again. Thank you for your report. I have questions. The first one, where can your system be applied?
Our system can be applied among every user and in medical institutions. We have consulted with specialists and doctors and have positive feedback about this application.
Okay, thank you very much. And second question, have you tested your system?
Yes, we have tested our system, and among users and our friends use it, and it really helps to improve their life. As patients with a disease of diabetes and direct participants of our projects also use it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Who have any questions to our speaker? We have a question in the chat. Did you consult with doctors while working on the application?
Yes, as I said before, we have consulted with specialists, with doctors, and we have positive feedback. And in future, we hope to use our application in medicine institutes.
Thank you for your answer. Who has any questions for speaker? So thank you for your interesting report and our discussion. And next we invite Quan and improve the diagonal loading by minimum variance distortionless. 1 second, please. I'm sharing. 1 minute, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. I plan to talk about an improved diagonal loading-based minimum variance distortionless response Beamformer. As we know that nowadays, separation and speed enhancement are the most popular challenging tasks in digital signal processing. In real environment, target speed signal is often distorted, causes third-party speaker noise. Transport vehicle interference. Separation speed refers to the task of saving the target speaker and suppressing the unwanted different noisy environment. In this context, speed enhancement is extracting one or more target speaker and mitigating the effect of annoying noise, interfering environment, or reduce some types of speed distortion due to the reverberation, the complex surrounding recording scenarios. So that the terms of signal enhancement and separation are very necessary in almost industry application, such as audio device, hearing aids, teleconference, and communication. And in this figure, many acoustic application which use microphone array are presented. And figure 2 and 3 presents the microphone array beamforming technique and the schema of principal working microphone arrays. NVIDIA beamformer in a noisy acoustic recording situation, it is very important to capture the speed signal from a target directional talker. Therefore, the only capable method is using microphone array beamforming to accuse the desired signal. As we can see, the NVIDIA beamformer is aiming to minimize the power of noise at the output without speed distortion. Therefore, the optimum problem is described by this following equation. And the matrix covariance is one of the most common enhancement, for the most For enhance the NVIDIA Beamformer diagonal loading technique is an efficient method for increasing the robustness of signal processing and speech quality at the output beamformer while suppressing on surrounding background noise. And the next, the author used the information of the speech present probability and the signal to noise ratio SNR, and the proposed solution is given by. In the next solution, the author will analyze the improvement of the proposed technique for reducing speech distortion and enhance the speech quality. In experiment, dual microphone arrays, dual microphone system is used for recording the target directional speech occur in the presence of surrounding noise interference prior situation. And the purpose of the experiment is verifying the capability of saving target directional speech in comparison with the conventional NVIDIA Beamformer. And the distance between two microphones 5 centimeters, and the model of the experiment is illustrated in the figures. As we can see that the waveform of the original captured signal on microphone and the presented energy of microphone array signal and the processed signal by traditional NVIDIA Beamformer and the proposed method EM NVIDIA Beamformer, and we can see that the suggested technique can help saving the original target speaker. And in table 1, the speed quality in terms of the signal to noise ratio was increases. And therefore, so in the complex environment, the suggested diagonal loading technique has improved the performance of NVIDIA Beamformer and enhances the speed quality and speed and intelligibility. The effectiveness of suggested method was verified, and numerical research confirmed the capability of this approach, which use the information of the speech presence probability and instantaneous and the temporal SNR. The obtained numerical research has have satisfied the aim of the evaluation experiment. Thanks for the attention.
So thank you for attention, for your interesting report, but our author is not here, and we invite to the next after of the article, and it's also Quan and we are listening his report. Maybe our authors, I invite our a few minutes.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Quan and I'm very pleasure to talk about a spectral mask for generalized Sidelobe canceller beamformer. Many acoustic devices in human life, such as stereo sound system, hands-free mobile phone, hearing aids, require an appropriate signal processing technique to achieve the original desired speed signal while suppressing as much as possible background noise or interfering signal. The speed intelligibility or quality indicate the degree of effective developed method. In general, signal processing method or optimum technique are chosen based on the constraint criteria, the characteristics of environment. Speed enhancement is one of the most attractive problems by numerous scholars. Saving the desired speed component while removing noise is an essential task of our speed signal speed enhancement system. The signal channel, the single channel approach usually use spectral subtraction, which is convenient in suppressing noise but leads to speed distortion. Therefore, the using of microphone arrays is one of the most widely common methods. And as figure 1 presents such separation, as we can see that many speed application which can be used in industry applications. And microphone array beamforming techniques and the generalized Sidelobe canceller structure, which use which use the main signal and the reference signal. The main signal which contain the desired signal and a little of noise, while the reference signal that contains the only noise component. And the most important blocks of the SK structure is the adaptive filter, and the most common is the Vienna filter. And as we can see that from this figure, the equation for main signal and the equation for reference signal and the adaptive Vienna filter. And the spectral map, as we know that the author proposes a spectral map due to the reference signal will be when often remains speed leak. Therefore, the spectral mask can help removing the returning desired speed to enhance GSK performance. And the spectral mask is a function which exploits the current between two signals and an estimation of the signal to noise. And in the experiment, the schema performance were illustrated in this figure. On microphone array signal transformed into the frequency domain, and as we can see, the waveform of the original and the waveform of the output signal by the conventional GSC, and the waveform of the output signal by the proposed method. And as we can see that the signal to noise ratio will increases. As in many speech applications such as hearing aids, audio device, extracting a desired speed signal is a very challenging problem from a mixture of corrupted signal. And therefore in the in this paper, the author proposes a spectral map to enhance the performance of GSCAP Beamformer. And thanks for the attention.
Thank you for your report. And 1 minute, please. I closed all report and we will ask questions later when the author joins to us. We hope that our author is will join us, and now third report also from Quan, and we will listening its report. 1 minute, please.
Today I'm very glad to talk about different ways improved performance of differential microphone array. In several speed communication systems, separation target directional speaker of a mixture of interference, noise, and third-party speaker is a challenging problem, especially in situations with complex surrounding noise and low antennas values. In general, due to the above reason, the speed quality and speed intelligibility are often significantly degraded. The necessity of communication is need to improve speed enhancement even in the scenario of low SNR is an important research. Single channel approach can adapt on requirement because of its spectral subtraction method which leads to speed distortion of the final output. Therefore, microphone array technology has been developed for dealing this problem. Nowadays, microphone array is used in almost speed applications such as speed recognition, mobile device, hearing aid, teleconference, human-machine interface in order to obtain an acceptable degree of speech quality from any algorithm, trying to mitigate background noise and extracting desired speed. And there are numerous speech applications which installed by microphone array. And the schema of microphone array and beamforming techniques are presented in this video. And the proposed method in the previous work, in the previous auto works, as we can see that the different microphone array to output signal and the beam pattern and the shape of the beam pattern and the equalizer for obtaining the target speed speaker. But in many complex recording situation, we need to use a post filtering to suppress to suppress the the second speaker speak. And in this paper, the author used the different phase between two microphone array signal and proposes a function to for use for suppressing the other target speaker. And the experiment, as we can see, that the decided speaker and the noise and the waveform of original microphone signal and the output signal by the outer previous work and the obtained processed signal by additive post filtering. And as we can see that the dual microphone array system, which need to is one of the most common component microphone array, which used in almost equipment, acoustic equipment. Therefore, additive post filtering is very necessary for improve the speed enhancement. And thanks for the attention.
Well, we thank you, our author, the Quan, and we ask the question to him when he joined to us. And the next is Lukash and his report for him article. 1 second, please.
A software engineering student from KNU and a front-end developer. My topic is NFTs, an overhyped gimmick or a promising technology of the 21st century. I bet we all hear the word blockchain quite often today. Blockchain and cryptocurrency have already started to disrupt traditional business models and financial systems, providing a strong alternative to traditional banking. As you know, due to the events in our country, we have to deal with lots of limitations. No direct money transfers abroad, no way of buying foreign currency online, etc., etc. Like the ban of P2P transfers from Hryvnia payment cards to foreign cards that took effect from October this year. Crypto users have never felt the effects of it. No wonder Ukraine has such high percentage of population that actively uses crypto, and the percentage is still growing. The topic I'd like to discuss today is not crypto itself, rather another popular application of blockchain, NFTs. A non-fungible token is a record on blockchain which is associated with a particular digital or physical asset. Unlike regular tokens like USDT, it has no equal counterpart. All information about its minting, ownership, and so to say Web3 journey is stored safely in the blockchain. Usually, NFTs contain references to images, but NFTs can be anything. Art, generated characters, photos, animated GIFs, videos, music, etc. Technically, it's possible for everyone to right-click an NFT art on any website and save it to the hard drive. Then use it as a regular image file, set it as a screensaver, print it out, or even post it on Twitter, as many online trolls do. However, the main point of NFTs is that not only the owner gets to view an NFT, rather they are the one who actually own it. The ownership is recorded in the blockchain. A good analogy for NFTs could be conventional pieces of art. You can set such paintings as Mona Lisa to your wallpaper, but you don't own them. No matter the benefits of this rising technology, its reputation still lags behind. NFTs are associated with many controversies and are often considered to be a gimmick, and are expected by many to fade into oblivion rather soon. For instance, an American influencer Logan Paul bought an NFT for $623,000. This NFT is worth about $10 today. Deals like this make people wonder if NFTs have any practicality. And could this monkey be really worth $100,000? Having experience of working on various NFT projects as a developer, today I'd like to provide you various ideas and examples of how we can make NFTs useful. The most obvious way is, of course, fundraising. No questions about the real price of that JPEG asked here. There are several great projects that are also extremely actual that raise money for the support of Ukrainian people in this uneasy time. One of such projects is Meta History NFT Museum, which is widely regarded and backed by such organizations as the Ministry of Digital Transformation of Ukraine. The Wall-line collection follows a chronology of events of the Ukrainian history of modern times. Each token is a real piece of news from an official source, and an illustration from artists, both Ukrainian and international. This helps not only to raise funds and awareness, but also to record the history in a way that can neither be altered nor destroyed. One other project we had a chance to work on with my team is a landing page for a partnership between Usyk Foundation and Blockasset. The website was launched in August this year before the Alexander Usyk vs Anthony Joshua boxing match, which was a great way to gain attention. On this landing page, a collection of 2,000 unique NFTs featuring Alexander Usyk were being sold, each priced at $200. This helped to raise $400,000 for medical and hygiene supplies, food, and much more. The collaboration on raising funds has ended. Non-promotional Blockasset NFTs featuring Alexander Usyk and other athletes can still be purchased on such platforms as Magic Eden. Another great use for NFTs is creating and trading unique content, which has not only artistic but also practical value and can be used in commercial or non-commercial purposes. The examples of such content are photos, music, video clips, and so on. At the moment, there are a lot of such online marketplaces to be found. Such popular services as Envato, Shutterstock, Epidemic Sound have existed for quite a long time and have gathered thousands of creators, clients, and pieces of content. Such marketplaces can also be implemented using Web3 technologies. All these assets will benefit from transparent copyright law protection thanks to the transparent nature of blockchain. Users and creators can perform payments using cryptocurrency. One of such projects is an NDA project I'm currently working on. Since it's completely confidential before the release, the good way to describe it is to talk about its closest competitor, Hrynevych. Hrynevych is a music distribution protocol with the help of which artists can publish their tracks as a set of NFTs to be discovered, enjoyed, and traded on-chain. This project aims to empower emerging and major artists with new ways of gaining exposure, engaging with their fans, and monetizing their work. With Hrynevych, it's possible to do such things as mint music NFTs that can interact with NFT exchanges, lending or renting protocols in the Solana ecosystem. Discover new music from growing creator community and directly support creators that users love. Buy and sell Solana music NFTs. Interact with music-loving community through public posts and comments. The same model of using NFTs for original content can also be applied to photos, videos, art, and any other digital assets. The final point, I'll be short here in order to save you time, also it's kind of really new idea that is yet to be implemented. What I'd like to talk about here is issuing and verifying documents using blockchain. A great leap in this field can be contributed to the Ministry of Digital Transformation of Ukraine with their project DIA. DIA allows people to use digital documents with the help of mobile app instead of their physical counterparts. However, the disadvantage of such service is its centralized nature. That is, users heavily depend on the IT team of DIA to keep everything stable, working as expected, and have 24/7 uptime. To mitigate these drawbacks, we could also make a good use of blockchain and NFTs to emit, distribute, and validate various types of documents and certificates in a decentralized manner. Thanks to the nature of blockchain, it would be easy to establish a specific account that would be associated with a particular governmental or non-governmental institution. This institution could emit documents or certificates by the means of minting NFTs. The ideal documents or certificates for this use case are the ones that do not contain sensitive information, such as diplomas, certificates, awards, tickets, invitations, etc. It's already used for some non-governmental documents like course certificates, tickets, and so on. But application on a more global scale is yet to see light. Ukraine is the first country in the world to implement electronic passports, so it's for sure early to discuss a Web3 implementation for something that is yet to come to the majority of the world. There are many other use cases of NFTs which were not mentioned today. Basically, almost everything we know today can be implemented in a decentralized manner. What's required is a correct and thoughtful implementation. All in all, non-fungible tokens make a perspective and promising technology, which proves an important and universal point. It's not a technology that matters, but rather how we use it.
Ми дякуємо за доповідь. Дуже просить Андрій Миколаєвич вибачення. Він нам писав в чаті, що в них дуже погане з'єднання в Кривому Розі. Вони навіть не можуть доєднатися. Ось він тільки написав нам відповідно в чаті, що вони нам бажають семінару, і при можливості вони до нас доєднаються. Відповідно, всі автори, які з Кривого Рогу, не можуть доєднатися, тому що, відповідно, в них проблеми зі світлом і проблеми з, відповідно, доступом. Наступний у нас автор, відповідно, Галина Йbytayeva, так? Я зараз спробую. Єви, так? Ви мене чуєте? Так?
Can you speak in English, please?
Yes.
I'm from Kazakhstan and I don't understand you.
Yes, we are now listening your presence, and will discuss with us after your video.
Thank you.
The topic of our work is experimental verification of collocation detection methods. The aim of the work is comparative analysis of different associative measures based on the corpus of the Kazakh language. The relevance of this study is due to the increased interest in the study of the functional and the speech aspect of language in general, as well as the lack of special study of the types of word combinations in new types of instructions. In the process of penetration of modern information and communication technologies into all areas of science, in particular into philological science, the popularity of using linguistic corpora of text in the study of various aspects of the language is growing. The main attention in our research is paid to the corpus of parallel text. In our study, we understand the corpus of parallel text as a type of corpus linguistics consisting of a source text in one language and its translation into another language or languages. This is linguistic corpus of text that allows you to study lexical connectivity or the phenomenon of word combination in context. Recently, in connection with the increasing need for automated systems, much attention is paid to the problem of automatic segmentation of word combination in text. There are various statistical indicators to evaluate the compatibility of words. Some dimensions are called associative measures or association measures. They allow you to calculate the strength of the connection between the elements of word combinations and are based on the frequency of these word combinations and the individual words included in them. Our dataset includes a parallel Kazakh-Russian corpus, which has been developed over 3 years, and an XML dictionary of synonyms with criminal-related vocabulary. At the moment, the volume of the parallel Kazakh-Russian corpus is 3,000 texts in Russian and 3,000 in Kazakh, including 2,000 texts containing a agreed Kazakh-Russian sentence. We extract the vocabulary for our XML dictionary of synonyms manual from the English, Ukrainian, Kazakh, and the Russian texts on criminal matters. Our study was based on the corpus of news texts, which includes 857 texts. The mutual information score expresses the extent to which words compared to the number of times they appear separately. This is MI formula. Here, N is keyword, C is collocate, FNC is frequency of occurrence of the keyword N in the pair with collocate C. Fn and Fc are absolute frequency of keyword N and the word C in the corpus and total number of word uses in the corpus. If the value of MI is greater than a certain value, then the collocation can be considered statistically significant. If MI is less than 0, then N and the C are called complementary. T-score expresses the certainty with which we can argue that there is an association between the words, i.e. their co-occurrence is not random. Figure contains data for 15 word combinations with word police sorted by value of MI parameter. The columns of the figure, in addition to the word combination itself, show the following characteristics: joint frequency of concurrent occurrences, frequent frequency of collocation, MI square value of MI, and the T-score value of T-score. The analysis of the data in figure shows that the ranks of the word combinations obtained using different indicates do not coincide. We compared the automatically generated word combinations on different association indices with the data from different dictionaries. The material served as collection of 2 nouns without homonyms, CSD.KZ, and 1 adjective, Kazakh-Russian, Russian-Kazakh Terminological Dictionary Jurisprudence. We call the above word combinations correct. Graph shows MI values, T-score measurements on the ordinate axis and the bigram ranks on the abscissa axis. Black color indicates correct word combinations from the dictionaries. The same tendency is observed for all obtained word combinations. The smaller the value of the measure, the greater the probability that these word combinations will not be registered as regular word combinations in dictionaries of the Kazakh language. Thus, we can say that the compatibility data given in dictionaries corresponds to the data obtained on the basis of associative measures. As a result of the experiment, it seems important to identify phrases that are not registered in any of the dictionaries. The analysis of such word combinations shows that bigrams located at the top of the list by degree of probability turn out to be stable, so they can be included in the list. It turns out that there are few correct collocations, but this is because the vocabulary we have been relying on is too small, so it needs to be expanded. We can say that a new vocabulary is needed, which should contain various regular expressions. In conclusion, I would like to say the following. When comparing collocations obtained using statistical methods with dictionaries, the same tendency is observed. The lower the value of the criterion, the more stable these collocations are not fixed in dictionaries of the Kazakh language and vice versa. Most collocations recorded in dictionaries are at the top of the list based on one of the association criteria. Thus, we can say that the data on constant compatibility given in dictionaries coincide with the data obtained on the basis of associative measurements, or in other words, statistical measures of association better determine the actual semantic syntagmatic relationships. In the future, it's planned to test the effectiveness of the methods on the large corpus. Thank you for your attention.
We thank you for your interesting report. Who has questions for the speaker?
Hello. I have a question. Thank you for your research and its presentation. The question is the next. You conducted the research, you presented the data, you also informed us about the number of sources you have. And do you have any ideas either your research might be really improved if you have more data to work with? Or do you think the amount of data you have now is already enough to develop this model further? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. First of all, I want to say that we have two corpus. One of them is multi-language corpus, which include Kazakh, English, Russian, and Ukrainian texts. And the second is parallel text, I mean Russian and Kazakh text. For this research, I use only two sources, I mean two dictionaries, where I search these collocations. It dictionaries in Kazakh language, Kazakh Russian words. So I used only these two dictionaries, and in future we use more dictionaries and more corpus. Plan to test the effectiveness of this method on large corpus, because our just corpus consists from 3,000 texts in Kazakh and Russian, and second corpus consists about 4,000 texts from news, from Kazakh news. And in future, I think I want to say that we have XML dictionaries, which includes nouns, adjectives, verbs, and the collocations. And in future, we want to expand our collocations.
Thank you. If it's allowed, I would like to ask another question, additional question rather, maybe even two questions. One is small. It's we probably all know that the most qualitative language translation is from English to Spanish and back, because it's probably the most developed area in translation. So either you have some benchmark of comparison of your model to the efficiency of the models in those two languages. It's first question. It's rather small question, and a bigger question. You told that you were developing your model based on the text you have from the news, and where do you plan to use your model? Because the news might be a bit biased, and text in the news might be different from the text in other areas of our life. So do you see some risks there, or you are going to use your model also on the text of the news? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. No, we have 4 news sites, Kazakh sites, Zakon, KZ, Nord KZ, and other. But we want to take policy report, text from policy reports, or from law, how it is, law reports, maybe raw
Legislation.
yeah. I mean там иск там дело, судебное дело.
Lawsuits.
Yes, from lawsuits and maybe from police reports. And what about translate from one language to another? We have application which automatically translate from Kazakh to Russian, from Russian to Kazakh. It's about 2,000 texts. 1,000 texts we translate, our translators translator linguists translate it from one language to other language. And so
Thank you.
Thank you. And who has any question for the speaker? Maybe.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. The question is, did you use another vocabularies, or like which vocabularies did you use and why?
If you ask about our dictionary, about our vocabulary, we have only one ontology, thesaurus, which has 4 elements. One of them is collocation. That's all. What about if you ask about this research about collocation? We have only 2 resources. This only 2. It's Sözdek KZ and the Russian Kazakh and the Kazakh Russian terminological dictionary jurisprudence.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And I have one question. Also, did you consider multilingual terminological dictionaries in your research?
Yes, we have this XML dictionary includes Kazakh, Russian, English, and Ukrainian words, about 600 nouns, words, and 2,500 synonyms. And in this XML dictionary, you can see definition of these words, example of these words, hyperonym and the hyponyms, and example definition, yes, and synonyms in English, Kazakh, Russian, and the Ukrainian. It's only crime-related words. I mean, crime-related information, it means, for example, terrorism, extremism, suicide, child pornography, for example, human murder, drug sales, and other criminal-related information.
Thank you for your answer.
Yes, I want to say that the aim of the project, of our project, to develop an information model of the system of automate identification of illegal texts of Kazakh, Russian, English, and the Ukrainian language in internet networks.
So thank you. You are very interesting research. And I also have one research about multilingual terminological dictionaries, and we will speak about this at 21 of December and another workshop. And if you are interested in this, you will join to us in another workshop.
Okay, can you send a link for me?
Okay, we thank you, and we invite the next author, and the next author is last Author is Andrei Kupin and Dmitro Zubov and Yuri Osachuk and Vadim Sayapin is also from Hrynevych. And we now know that in Hrynevych not light. And 1 second, please.
Of magnetite quartzites, iron ore, beneficiation in industrial conditions of the mining and processing plant, MPP, for the purpose of definition of settings of regulators as a part of intelligent control system, X, is considered. The multidimensional and multi-connected mathematical model of TP, which is obtained as a result of the identification procedure using the neural network approach, is considered to be known. The relevance and general formulation of such a task is presented in the works of many authors. Various modifications of gradient algorithms are now mainly used as search methods for multi-factor optimization of technological functions of targets, optimal and adaptive automatic control systems, ARCs. However, it is well known that in the case of poor conditionality of the optimization problem, which is typical in the case of an attempt to approximate technological functions, especially in non-stationary processes, there are some problems with the coincidence of the extremum search process appear. A good enough alternative to this is the use of intelligent approaches. Classification, control and evolutionary calculations. 2. Purpose and objectives of the work. The purpose of this research is to develop a generalized algorithm of intellectual classification. In the result, it is necessary to build a division of the feature space into recognition classes, the X. Let the following categories be known in advance. 1. An alphabet of recognition classes for technological situations of a set. 2. A training matrix of the type object property, which characterizes the MTH state of X in the form. 3. Statement of a material and results based on the above statement of the problem. The next procedure of intellectual classification will have the following stages. 1. The algorithm of intelligent classification begins to work in case of a special situation, that is, none of the following conditions are met. 2. The main cause of special situations is perturbations caused by constant fluctuations in the quality, composition and properties of primary raw materials. The peculiarity is that these effects of MPP are almost impossible to measure accurately enough during the TP in real time. For this purpose, the corresponding values of the input perturbations at the previous step are predicted.
3. To implement the classification procedure, it is necessary to form a sample of data for training of the classifier. Such a sample is formed on the basis of records of the technological database, which is constantly updated during the TP. Therefore, to improve the speed and quality of training classifier with technological database dimension DB records is selected a limited cluster with the number of records. Therefore, with this in mind, the size of the cluster for classification under TP beneficiation will be. If this amount of information is not in the technological database, for example, at the beginning of the ICS, the classification is impossible. The selection of the specified number of cluster elements from the technological database is by the method of the nearest neighbors based on the analysis of vectors with a minimum value of the Hamming radius. 4. Synthesis and training of the classifying neural network. Artificial neural networks today are one of the most effective means for automatic classification and clustering due to their sufficiently flexible learning capabilities and generalization properties. 5. The main task in the course of classification, or classification optimization, of the current technological situation is the final choice from the cluster of the best vector. Therefore, on the basis of these conditions we obtain 6. Making a final decision on the suitability, or unsuitability, of the classification results. For the successful implementation of the automated neural network classification procedure, the following conditions must be consistently met. The cluster for parameterization of the classifying neural network must contain not less than the vectors from the technological database. If the precondition is fulfilled, it is necessary to check the quality of classification on the basis of calculating the value of the maximum measure of control tolerance fields for normalized recognition features defined, 2, and allowable forecast error, which according, 11, where are permissible values of tolerance fields and forecast errors respectively. It is finally checked whether the obtained classification solution can satisfy the global criterion of type 9, especially by constraints, second and third local criteria. 7. In case of successful classification according to the algorithm, the class closest to the ideal development of the technological situation according to the global criterion is selected as a potential solution. 9. 4. Conclusions. The analysis of results of computer modeling allows to make certain generalizations in the form of such conclusions. 1. Intelligent classification using multi-layer neural networks and preceding cluster selection of the training sample while ensuring the appropriate number of cluster elements allows to determine the vector of settings and predict the TP beneficiation with satisfactory accuracy, which relative error does not exceed the average normalized tolerance field within 4 to 4.5%. 2. The results of computer simulation using neurosimulators such as NeuroSolutions, NeuroShell2 and Genetic Optimizer Type Gene Hunter proved that the developed algorithms and control principles using evolutionary optimization methods, genetic algorithms and automated intelligent classification can be applied to the practical implementation of modern ICS in conditions of complex multi-stage TP to determine the required values of the setting.
And we thank you all authors for his reports of his research. And Andriy Mykolaievich sent very she is very sorry, and his connection is very poor, and Sergei Alexeyevich so much and I want to say our author of Vietnam is not here. We hope that he will write, and we truly thank everyone for participant in our workshop. We invite all of us, of you, to participate our next conference and seminars. I will share a link for next seminar workshop. And we now please everyone to turn on the cameras for group photography and report in the site of Hrynevych seminar workshop. Please turn your cameras. Михайло Геннадійович, Віталій Левківський, будь ласка, хто може ввімкнути камеру на 2 хвилиночки. Так. Ще раз від себе вже українською мовою повторю те, що говорила англійською мовою. Щиро всім дякую, да, всім миру. І, відповідно, просять вибачення наші організатори за такі ситуації, в які ми склалися. Да, зараз в Україні повітряна тривога. Відповідно, ракети летять, бомблять наші міста. Кривий Ріг взагалі без світла, без відповідно інтернету. Тому ще раз всім дякую. Thank you very much. And I share a link for our next conference in our chat. Yes. 1 second. Oh, yes, I share link in the chat for our next conference and seminar, and I invite you to our workshop in the future. Thank you very much, and good luck, and peace and everyone, thank you.